So let's get down to business. I just want to drop this quick bit on this movie that I just recently watched. It's way better than the reviews are saying. It's pretty disgraceful that the reviews are so bad for this movie when honestly, this is a really, really good movie. There are some like stagnant moments. Stagnant. When I say stagnant, you'll know what I mean when you see them, and I can count 3. But honestly, all these Anglo-Saxon movies with nothing but Anglo-Saxon, white pasty, mayonnaise people, like honestly, Kissing Booth gets like more people watching it. It doesn't matter what the ratings are. It matters how many people watched it, okay? So the ratings, like literally, every single person on earth can watch it, spend money, however, to find it somewhere, and it literally get a 0 rating, and it's still better than a movie that no one watched that has a low rating. Just like, don't even come at me with it. This movie is called Don't Let Go. It came out in 2019. It's basically about this guy who's overlapping in time. His niece is killed. Her whole family's killed. And he's a police officer trying to figure out why. It's about, like, it's first, okay, some people might be upset that it's black people and there's some things having to deal with drugs. First of all, that is somebody's life. It can be somebody's life. It's not a stereotype if they don't make it stereotypical. And I personally, as a black person, didn't think that this movie was stereotyping anything, but rather actually going on the inside of, okay, yeah, when we deal with this in particular situations, yeah, why did he feel the need to do drugs? Like, no one sells drugs because, oh, this is so fun. Oh my gosh. No one strips on the pole because, oh my goodness, this is so fun. Like, it's hard out here, and it's definitely hard out here for people who are ethnic, Asian, Hispanic, black, like, just like what happened, the whole massacre that happened. There's no, under any circumstances, I don't care if you're a sex worker or selling drugs, that you should be killed for it. I'm sorry, like, that's not what we do here. Like, when you got people literally being, like, predators and rapists, and y'all don't kill them, but you guys think it's fine to kill prostitutes who are literally, like, allowing, like, sex workers who literally consent to this, people who are not consenting. I'm not referring to people who are pimped out. I'm referring to people who work as their person, as someone who doesn't have to cut off a slab of their money that they paid fully for. It's just like, honestly, you don't go to McDonald's and say, well, since this is my establishment, you get to cut me off some. Like, there is no place where you have to cut some off except pyramid schemes. And I think it's disgusting. I'm not here to talk about my thoughts on sex working, okay? I'm here to talk about Don't Let Go. So I only know literally a third of the cast, but that's fine. Add more black faces out there. I really, like, just because you need a black person, you don't have to call Morgan Freeman. He getting up there. Like, y'all called Cicely Tyson to her grave. Literally, she worked till her dying day. She worked to her dying day. There was no break for her. She was working. Y'all keep getting I love these people. I'm not putting them down at all whatsoever under any circumstances. But why do all these random white people get to be thrown in my face with all these Netflix original series? And y'all can't just accept that there are other ethnicities out there and other black people other than Morgan Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, the same people you guys keep getting for these roles. Like, honestly, there are more black people out there than Will Smith, okay? And he doesn't even consider himself black, honestly. Like, just because, and by that, I don't mean you have to make your whole life being black. But I think it's really interesting that he's called for certain roles. Like, Will Smith would be like the token black guy in the movie. Like, look back. I'm literally, like, don't believe me? Go on IMDb right now and tell me how many black people are in the particular movies Will Smith's in. He's not in, like, he in Bright or whatever it's called, the worst movie ever made. Like, honestly, one of the worst movies ever made. He's like the only black person on the cast. And then he has a white wife. Like, honestly, like, y'all really don't hide your supremacy at all whatsoever. And you about to get called out. So I do believe racism had something to do with why I didn't know anything about this movie and why it was like not promoted as much as other movies that are like, oh my goodness, how many times do I have to see this commercial for this disgusting movie like Godzilla? No one, like, really, there are other things. Like, we're still talking about Godzilla, like, back in the day. Like, there are some things that just deserve to be memories, that just deserve to be, well, that was cool when it happened. Because, no, my mom is interested, but she's only invested and interested in it because it's from her, like, she saw it a while ago before. Like, I'm sure maybe little boys are interested or whatever, or maybe some girls, but honestly, like, they're not catering to anyone but people who just want to see an ape and, like, a little reptile looking thing fight, when it's not, like, find something else. If you're gonna use stuff from the past, like, make it interesting, because I'm not here for it. Don't Let Go was not promoted as much as Godzilla is, and yeah, okay, Godzilla is the classic. I'm not using that as an example specifically, but there are many Anglo-Saxon movies with just nothing but Anglo-Saxon executive producers. Like, okay, you like to put some black people in your movie. Well, how about let's see who's the executive producer. Let's see where the money from that billion-trillion-dollar movie that you just made is going in. Is it going in the pockets of ethnic people, or is it going in the pockets of all Anglo-Saxons? And with this being said, I'm not saying that white people can't earn money. I'm saying that look at every single executive producer. For every one ethnic person, there is 50 Anglo-Saxons making money, making 10 times more than them. Like, it happens with the influencers. Like, honestly, I've been following, and I will only follow, like, for every one white person I follow, I am going to follow 5 black people, because that's just, we have to figure something out, because we're like, it's not working out. It's not working. We're not getting any, we're not keeping any of the wealth. And with this whole stimulus check, that's all fantastic and fantabulous and all. But when you add money to everyone, and we're still in the same place, like, we're still in the same place. I don't know what y'all need to just do math. And okay, let's say Sally has 1 apple. Megan has 0 apples. If you give them all 3 apples, that girl is still gonna have, like, more apples, honestly. Like, everyone gets the same amount of, like, I don't know. Y'all gotta figure something out, but I digress from that. Don't Let Go is another one of those movies, like a cop. But guess what? We've got so many of those movies. Why is it that when it's a black person or when it's an ethnic person, people love to talk about, oh, this is played out. Like, let it be played out with other ethnicities. Y'all got y'all stuff. Let it be played out for us. Like, why can't we make money just as much on whatever? And this movie isn't even bad at all under any circumstances. You can tell whoever made this, I don't know, maybe, I'm not going to look it up because I really could care less. They probably might not have been into cinema. Like, the cinematography was pretty decent, but you could tell there were certain points at which there was just, like, dead air. There was just, like, dead air in the situation. Like, I know time is going by slow, like, in one of those instances, but there's a time at the end, spoiler, when, like, there's the little girl from the new Wrinkle in Time. Wrinkle in Time, by the way, is a movie and a book that I would recommend. Not the one with Oprah. Sadly, they messed it up. They messed it up with Oprah. I'm sorry. Honestly, it's sad. I really wanted A Wrinkle in Time to be good. I always imagined A Wrinkle in Time being better than the first movie, but the first movie is really closer to the book than I would say the movie with black people and stuff in it, and it's horrible. Like I've said in other videos, they don't put enough effort into our stuff. You know how many people said, "Oh, well, the Black Panther was the most boring movie," and da 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 da, and you know, all the quarter of a men playing and talking about how it was horrible, but like, I can't remember a single instant, like, I can't remember a single scene in The Winter Soldier. I can't remember, you know what I remember from Captain America? Him being scrawny. That's literally all I remember. I cannot think of a quote from that movie. I can't think of a scene from that movie. But Black Panther was visually stunning. I can't even think of anything from all these Anglo-Saxon movies that people love to talk about how great they are. Black Panther is better than Captain America, the first movie. And it's like, the only reason why it's good is because it's an origin story. Like, that's it. Like, I can't remember a single scene. I think he went to Vietnam or something, and he went on tour or something. Cannot remember. Can't remember half of these things. Like, do y'all really remember the first Spider-Man? I'm with Tom Holland, not with Maguire or anybody like that. I can't remember how he got his spider sense or whatever. Like, I remember Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man all these years ago. I haven't watched that movie in ages. And it's like, we are put to a different standard. And then when we do that to ourselves, and then we do that in favor of us, people are like, oh, well, that's just racism. You guys can't do that, sweetheart. Like, we get to hear how we're racist because we want only black people in our movies, like Jordan Peele, when Anglo-Saxons do that all the time, and then they have a token black person that may or may not get killed. And if they don't get killed, they don't get many screen times. They're the comedic relief. Tiffany Haddish serving very much like, oh, I'm just gonna go and tell the main character about what to do. I can't exist without being a foil to the Anglo-Saxon counterpart. But this movie barely has any white people in it. And what are the odds that it gets almost below 50% on both Rotten Tomatoes and the other one? Like, honestly, this movie was not under 50% worth. I would say at least a 70. That's the least a 70. If I were to, like, honestly, I don't know why y'all pulled our movies to a different standard than any Anglo-Saxon movie. Like, y'all got like 10 seasons of Friends. Y'all got like 10, like, all these movies, all these shows full of Anglo-Saxons that is just the same thing over and over again. Nothing's new, nothing's developed, and everyone's trash and terrible. But this movie, I think it just makes me so mad, because Don't Let Go was not like a whole, like, a cultural reset, okay? Under any circumstance, it's not. But you know what? It was a good movie. So I don't know why no one's talking about it. I don't know why people didn't talk about it when it came out, because I didn't hear anything about it. No one said, let's watch Don't Let Go. There's this movie, you can tell this movie had a small budget. But I think it's interesting that the kissing booth and all these other gross Anglo-Saxon movies that keep getting sequels, and Happy Death Day and all that, with all these terrible actresses and actors, are remembered more and are talked about more than movies like this. Like, why can't we have just regular schmegular movies that are like, whatever, and we make money on it still? It's got to be pressed about, oh, this isn't good enough, da-da-da-da-da. It has to be brilliant. It has to be great and fantastic for anyone to say it's good. Unless there's problematic things. Like Coming to America, a lot of ethnic people are saying it's bad because, from what I can tell, it is. I haven't watched it yet, but from what I can tell, it's bad. And the first Coming to America, it wasn't offensive to me. It wasn't offensive to me at all. And if anyone wants to talk about quote-unquote whiteface that Eddie Murphy did, I've got some bullets for you. So bullet number 1, Eddie Murphy got away with a lot of things. I'd have no idea why. Maybe because he's rich, but he is not seen like as the common black person with the amount of wealth that black people have as a whole. So let's get that straight. Another bullet. Until we can literally go back in time and enslave you guys, there is no way that whiteface is the exact same way as blackface. It's not. Because you guys made money. Like, I saw this girl on Twitter, sidebar, Like this woman who did some like a prosthetics and stuff and made herself black. What is stopping them from just getting white people like they're doing with these people that are claiming to be black and they're passing, and just putting a white person in their role and giving them the pay that a white person would get or whatever, and them just taking our roles? What's stopping that? That was what minstrel shows were. Instead of us playing, and it's just like, and there's another thing, we shouldn't have to be minstrels. We shouldn't have to be tap dancing fools. We shouldn't have to be particular people who are like the comedic relief or the I have no mind of my own. I have no purpose but to serve the Anglo-Saxon counterpart or foil. Like there's nothing. So it's like, I think it's real interesting that white people always love to talk about how, oh, if you do that, you're just as bad as us. Like, we're not just as bad as you because we're not enslaving people. We're not just as bad as you because y'all did it for years. You're like, oopsies, that was one mistake. Like, y'all did it for years. Y'all were making money off of it. And the sooner we learn, the sooner we all just come to the collective and be like, yeah, you guys made money from that. And you guys are still y'all are still living off of the money that you made from slavery, off the backs of black people. And you're going to dare say that whiteface is the exact same thing. Minstrel shows were made to keep the stigma of black people going. Y'all would put on blackface and make them do things. And then when Sally Booba Bally went to the store with her kids, she would clutch them close because she saw on the telly or on the stage that the black people is gonna take my purse, like black people are gonna rape me. Like, honestly, like you guys are really gonna say that white, like Eddie Murphy doing that one role is gonna like equate years and years and years and years of y'all doing that and making a joke. And then another thing, here's another bullet. Eddie Murphy's actually funny. If you can be offensive, and y'all love to talk about how, oh, it's just edgy humor. It's only edgy humor if it's funny. If it's not funny, it's offensive. And that's the rule of comedy. And if you can't get that, then get off the stage. Hand the mic to someone else. Quit the cap. Because honestly, people love to like, haha, and laugh at racist jokes and then think, oh, well, it's just a joke. And then when we do something like that, and with Eddie Murphy, they're like, oh, but that's whiteface. That's real interesting how it's whiteface now. Y'all don't want to even acknowledge that blackface exists. And then when something happens, when we do something that's successful, because Coming to America was very successful and very funny, Coming to America 2 has none of the sentiments. And people love to talk about, oh, these are new ages, we can't do this, that, and the other, people too sensitive. No, not really. We're trying to not continue the generational curse of being numb to everything and being abused and just accepting the abuse because we don't want to be looked at as soft. That's what we're doing. So I don't know what you're doing, but that's what we are doing. So Don't Let Go literally is like one of those cop movies where there's a cop and he's got to figure out death, and he's kind of like, there is no explanation for his powers or how this can happen. There's no explanation, and there shouldn't have to be an explanation, because there are so many movies that y'all just accept, like, and everything, and it's Anglo-Saxon. Like, this is the big thing. People love to nitpick black movies. And it's not even a black movie, because there's a lot of like, there's white people. Like, it's not like a big, I'm pretty sure whoever was behind this movie was white. But like I said, there's no explanation for the reason why he can talk to his niece who was dead. It's just, we go through it and we live it, you know? Like, honestly, we don't need to know why, because not everything needs lore. I love lore. I love writing lore. I love learning about lore. I'm a lore fanatic. Don't come to me about lore, because I can outlore you. Bro, seriously? Raise your hand if you wanted The Legend of Korra to explain the Avatar. Because I didn't. I didn't want them to explain Juan or Ra and Vatu or whatever his name is, the kites of Christmas past. Like, honestly, no one wanted that garbage. This was about Taoism, not Christianity, which is what it turned to. Good and evil versus positive and negative energy. And I'm all about like religious beliefs and studying them, because it's just basically like lore that people literally, I think it's hilarious that people are like doing certain rituals and stuff, and then they're talking about, oh, there's no such thing as magic, da 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 da. So it's like real interesting that we're supposed to accept that certain things, like certain rituals that you guys do. Yes, the Catholicism has rituals, and they pretend like, oh, all these Christianity like divisions be like, oh, this is black, this is horrible, oh, the witch, da 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 da. But it's just like pretty interesting that Jesus is literally like a sorcerer, like, but whatever. So the girl from A Wrinkle in Time, she's a very good actress. Oh my goodness, she gives it her all. Like, she gives it her all. People love to, like, I'm talking about people like on this whole video, but whatever. People do love to talk about how, oh, these child actors are so gross, da 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 da. Well, first of all, yeah, they're pretty bad at acting, because most of these child actors you see and actresses are children of people who are famous, cousins who are people who are like, they're keeping it in the family, the generational wealth that goes also into the how we're still behind, like y'all are still trying to keep us behind, Black people, because y'all will take, instead of getting people who are not like outwardly famous, who are trying to rise up, y'all are going to keep it into the people who have already rose. This movie is really good for like her portfolio. I don't know this girl's name, but she straight up was she was the best actress, and I don't know if she's a child. She's playing still a child. She's been playing a child for a while. She could very well be 18, but I still do believe you're a child until you're 20, because this is still teens, 18, 19. Like I said in another video, who said 18 was the like consent? Who like what pasty mayonnaise old crypt keeper wanted to marry an 18-year-old? Like, that's still child, but whatever. There's a Black guy in this movie, the enemy. It's just like I said, there's going to be spoilers. I still want you to watch it, though, if you're going to see this video. There's a guy, I'm the man behind it all. And there's another thing. It shows there's a lot of expectations switched around. And I know people love to talk, oh, I can't believe you guys want to promote like certain particular things when it comes to Black people. But like I said earlier, we can't just sit there and not take roles because, oh, well, that's a stereotype. There's a lot of dumb blondes. That's a stereotype, right? We're so boxed into not being stereotypes that we still don't get the roles regardless. Like, if they need some, like, here's an example, Coming to America, Leslie Jones. I'm getting a lot of people saying that Leslie Jones is playing Leslie Jones, and that's personally not her fault. Someone like Adam Sandler, who got paid to play himself for years and years, and he never was once criticized for it enough for him to lose a paycheck. People can cry about it on Twitter all they want. If someone's still getting a paycheck, they're still getting a paycheck. They don't care how much you cried. They'll cry in $100 bill. You can go cry in your pennies. They're going to go cry in $100 bill and be like, boo-hoo. Adam Sandler did not lose a single cent playing the exact same character throughout his whole entire career. But Leslie Jones gets criticized for playing Leslie Jones in every movie she's in. I personally don't like that. I don't like the sentiment. But you know what? Until we can figure it out, I'm not going to criticize Leslie Jones or Tiffany Haddish for getting paid to play themselves or the same role over and over again. Because Anglo-Saxons like Johnny Depp, he gets to play the quirky kooky. He's just typecasted as the quirky, kooky, quirky dude. Men get to do that all the time, regardless of color. Like I said, Will Smith, he may be in a lot of roles, but if you guys, like, you know who's a good actor? You know who's a good actor? Robin Williams, because his characters were so different. There's a sort of art that goes with playing a character. There are other people, like, I think it's real interesting that Tyler Perry plays Medea and then plays just a regular old wholesome guy. Like, I think that's pretty interesting. There's a lot of things that go into that too. I am 100% against Tyler Perry. Yeah, okay, yeah, oh, I'm doing this for the black, like, okay, I'ma still see you. Like, I'ma meet you halfway. But I'm still not going, like, I don't trust him. He's done black women too wrong too many times in his movies. And it's just like, okay, if we've got to do this to get to point A to point B, it'd be interesting if we could be all on the same page, rather than him just going rogue and saying, you know what, I'm just going to make fun of black women my whole entire career so that we can get here. And then y'all can have your time to shine. Because by the time you up there, they're not taking us seriously. Like I said, Leslie Jones and Tiffany Haddish are constantly criticized for playing the same character over and over again. When, like I told you, people like Adam Sandler, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson, there's so many people who have just made billions and billions, tons of movies. Who would I say is a good actor? Good actress. Angela Bassett is a good actress. Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer. How about them apples? How about them? They're really good. Give them awards. Like Meryl Streep is like Meryl Streep. She is a good genreist. She's like good in certain genres. Like I haven't seen a movie where she's not good, but I haven't seen all her movies. So you can get that. It's like once you've seen a few of her roles, it's like, okay, I'm not really interested in the rest of them. I just like what I've seen. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Every time I see something with Angela Bassett in it, I searched online to see what Angela Bassett was in. I cared about what she was in. I cared about How to Get Away with Murder solely because Viola Davis was in it. And then I'm like, wow, this dude who was in Harry Potter, the only black kid that went to Hogwarts other than that Quidditch boy who seemingly disappeared when we stopped doing Quidditch matches. When we stopped doing Quidditch matches, we didn't see that boy with the dreadlocks. We did not. No, we did not. Tell me where he was. Tell me where he was. He Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Slytherin? I don't think so. He was gone. Y'all just kicked him off. But dude from How to Get Away with Murder was on Hogwarts too. That's pretty interesting. And then supposedly, I have yet to confirm this, but supposedly dude from Bridgerton, Queen of Pasties, King of Duke of Pastings or whatever his name is, Pasties, he was in Harry Potter too. Like y'all just be plucking black people from places in the back. They were like, wow, I was the background character and now I get to be a person. I actually get to be a person. Like, yeah. That's not diverse. And then another thing with sidebar on Meghan McCain and all the View whatnot, talking about how, we don't look at qualifications anymore. It's just what ethnicity are you? It's always been what ethnicity is you. Like we're not denying the fact that it's what ethnicity are you, but it's not in the way you think. It's not, they're only picking black people over, and then, are we going to be removed? You may be removed, Miss Meghan McCain. Meghan McCain, you're going to dare talk about qualifications? Your last name's McCain? Why do you think you're there, Meghan McCain? It's not because of your qualifications. Anyone can be president, we've been learned. It didn't start with prior presidents. It started a very, very long time ago. Any white man can be president. It's not something that we should hold in high regards when the things that they're doing are not in high regards. But that's another story for another video. I want to wrap up and say, Don't Let Go is better than all these people are saying. It's a bleh back in time. There's a lot of bleh back in time things that gets more praise, and if not more praise, more on the spotlight. I am literally showing this in the spotlight. I'm going to be a voice that tells you guys about Don't Let Go. It is also put under the title Relieve, I think, which makes it's better to say Don't Let Go. I kind of think that they should have given, like I said, more time and effort into this movie, because I think there was lack of effort. And the guy who made this is white, and he's also been involved in Rings, which I did not like at all. So and it also isn't something that's like, he's not known for like having a lot of diversity. Diversity does not mean you hire Awkwafina to be the Asian girl and you hire Tiffany Haddish to be the Black Relief woman. That's not diversity. Diversity doesn't mean you add you have a white protagonist and then you have his black friend that plays basketball and his Asian friend that's good at math, okay? That's not what diversity is. That's stereotyping, and it's like, come on, can it end? Like, there are other people in this world, and if you don't think there is, then maybe you need to step down. Maybe you need to step down from wherever high horse you are on, thinking that you know anything about diversity or how to make a proper movie. And if you short circuit and can't come up with a movie that involves like other people that aren't Anglo-Saxon of the Caucasus Mountains, then find another job. Honestly, like, you don't have to know about diversity when you stocking shelves in the back of some hardware store. Like, go do that if you want to. Honestly, like, work at a bowling alley, like, you don't need to be making movies. Let me make a movie. Let me make a movie out of my books. I have a lot of different ethnicities, not just when people think of Asian, they always think of like the lightest skin Asian. There are people in Indonesia, the Philippines. You can bring in some darker skinned Asian women and men. They don't have to be porcelain dolls as well, just saying. There's a lot of issue with that too. In Bollywoods, in all those Indian movies, you see very, very light skin. In reality, in real life, I have never seen any Indian, like I've never met and hung out with and talked to in real life and could touch with my fingers a person that was any lighter than me from India. From me, my skin tone. So it doesn't matter. Like, they're out here, and there's someone with a qualification. Stop saying, like, we're not in the past to where you could have said, well, they can't read because you didn't let them, because they can't go to our schools. They don't have the best school. Well, we're integrated for the most part. In some sections, there are still segregation. There's like, even where I come from in my school, we were majority black, and that was fine. There was a school beside us that was majority white, and then there was one that was completely black. We were diverse. There were, like, I was upset that there weren't that many Asian guys, but you know what? There was some Asian guys, there were some Asian girls. There, like, I knew an Asian girl and her two sisters. Like, there was a lot of diversity, and with the teachers, I would say there were a lot of white teachers, but you know what? Our principal was a black woman, so it's just like, that's one thing that they do. If there was a movie made of my high school, I would have to change up somebody's ethnicity, because there were too many Anglo-Saxons up in there to be teaching all these black kids. Just saying. That's pretty interesting that y'all like. And it's just like, there's a whole thing. It goes deep. It goes so deep that we need a council of black people to discuss this. And we have to get it together, because it's so deep. One person cannot touch all the bases. And it's hard for me to go, and I always jump from branch to branch. And it's just something that people can't always follow. And I hope that people who watch my videos, my audience, I don't know what you guys want to be called, the Dragonlings. I really don't know. Like I call myself M Dragon 12. Some say Mr. Online, because I'm like, yeah, I'll be Mr. because I'm not gonna be either discriminated against because I'm a girl on Xbox, or like people get dumb. I'll be doing call outs and they'll be getting dumb, like they won't listen and we die, and I'm like, okay, thank you for not listening to my call outs because you think I'm a girl. So I'll say I'm a guy and then get it together, and they get it together and they played the game that they turned on their Xbox to play. I really don't know why you get on the Xbox if you don't, like, okay, I can't talk about this. Another thing, I guess this is going to be current events. Like, I really thought this was just going to be a quick bit. So not a quick bit. It's a current event. I guess I can do quick bit / current events. I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll see. Xbox is turning from Xbox Live to Xbox Network, which just tells me they're going to increase their prices. They wanted to see what the public is going to say, but now our case for not having them raise the price, which was heard, it listened to and responded successfully to, because they didn't do it. They have nothing on PlayStation. PlayStation players don't have to pay a subscription to play with other people online. However, their demographic steers towards people who are playing within a home, inside a house, or inside a place with multiple they want you to buy multiple stations. They don't want you to have just one for your house so that a lot of people can play together. That's the whole situation. It's not for people to play somewhere else. It's for player 1, player 2, player 3, like everybody to do something within their house, because God of War wasn't known for being online. It was just a thing. And then Uncharted, all these things, because PlayStation is connected to Sony, they look more like movies than our Xbox bullcrap. I was literally about to jump this sinking ship, and it's being saved technically because it seems like they're going to make more thing geared towards movies. This is my hypothesis. Playing on an Xbox for 10 plus years, I'm going to say that they're going to start making movie-like games, and they're going to, with this whole thing with Kingdom Hearts, this is connected to Kingdom Hearts. It connecting to Xbox, because I've never played Kingdom Hearts on an Xbox. I've always played Kingdom Hearts on a PlayStation or Wii or whatever. It was not Xbox. Now that everything's being transported to Xbox, because they know that's where the world's going, especially since this whole COVID thing happened. More people are home. More people have had time to go on Xbox and make accounts and do stuff. They've seen the inflation, and they see that people aren't trying to watch live stuff anymore. They have Paramount Network, Paramount Plus, they've got Disney Plus. Disney jumped on the gun because they saw Netflix so successful, and now Netflix is trying to harp on people using passwords and not in a household. Sounds familiar. It sounds like PlayStation. It sounds like Xbox is going to increase their prices because they're going to make or contribute to movies made out of video games. They're going to start on Halo, and that's just my hypothesis. I've never been a Halo fan, but I do believe they're going to make a series, or they're going to make a movie, and it's going to be produced by the Xbox Network. They're calling it a network so they can start doing movies and series. That's it. That's what they're doing. And I know this, like I feel like I am psychic. I've predicted things in the future, like I've predicted things before. I've been wrong sometimes. Sometimes I'm right. Maybe I do believe that each path is made, but you can divert and be in a different reality. There are multiple realities in which could happen. It's kind of like what Garnet is on Steven Universe. And Garnet was the best character, honestly. I didn't like any of the other characters. They were really bad, but Garnet seemed to be really good. But I kind of didn't like the fact that I don't know. Like I said, the implications of Garnet, the way she looks, it's just like, I know, she Rebecca Sugar was under fire for someone who made a character like concrete or something crazy, like obsidian. You could have done anything. Onyx, like you could have did anything. You could do concrete, like concrete. That's not good. You could onyx, like that would have been nicer and it would have been less horrible. Like the implications, I don't see a problem with Garnet, but I do see a problem with the fact that she's the only, like, Pearl is her own. She may have been a slave, but we don't see her in that position. That's not her position. She actually seems like she's if she's not the leader, Garnet is, because she's the tallest, but Pearl seemed to be the leader of the group. She's like the mother of the group. She's the one to look up to, not to look down on. And that's just what I'm saying. Maybe because she was, the other gems are taller. Like, I'm getting off track. I'm not talking about Steven Universe. I really do not want to discuss Steven Universe. I liked it until I didn't like it, and then I hated it. So, may not ever do one unless I get asked, like, hey, are you going to do Steven Universe? I will only do it if I'm asked by, like, the Dragonlings or whatever. I really don't know, but if once I get 100 subscriptions, I promise that I will make a name for the people who are my subscribers. Until I get to 100, nothing's in stone. But that's basically it on this current events, I guess. It's turned into current events. Nothing. I'm really not going to speak on that whole Jackson thing where he cheated on his wife and all that, because I really didn't know him. I didn't know about him. I didn't know he was a love guru. I didn't know he was ruining people's lives. But I do know about those two guys that sit and talk and, like, they look like the toad and the frog together. They always love to make fun of women and be ridiculous and act like, oh, they're the type that is like, you want equal rights? I'll punch you in the face. Like, that's what they're serving me. So I don't really know anything else about the whole situation. I just know that they're like spreading all this, like, aha, we caught ya. No guy's perfect, so therefore accept the worst out of every man possible. Like, low self-esteem, propaganda. I'm not gonna, like, speak on anything else having to do with all that, because I don't care, and I don't know much about it. So that's it. Please watch Don't Let Go. Please tell me what you think. Do not listen to anyone talking about how it's a bad movie, because there are plenty of bad movies that get sequels. And maybe in the sequel of Don't Let Go, we learn how he has these powers, or if he can help other people. Maybe they could have made a series. It just seems like it didn't get a chance to grow and bloom like all these other loser, like, movies and shows that go on forever. Come on. Give it a chance. And one final note, like, are we going to really not discuss about every single thing that they took out of Cyborg's life in Justice League? Are we really not going to talk about that? He's black. And yes, we know everything that happened out in the public. So, like, y'all really miss it with all this ridiculousness about race and all that. Like, honestly, miss it. Like, it's on deaf ears. I'm not hearing it, because literally this Snyder's cut just proves everything. It just puts all a little bow on top, little icing on the cake, like garbage. Like, that's it. I haven't watched. I've only seen people talk about it, because I'm not watching. I'm not into comics like that. Like, I really will watch it, like, maybe, because it just seems like it's a better movie. And I want to know why these people are being given, like, tons of money to, like, have different cuts and like, so much money wasted. But whatever. Don't even get me started on Wonder Woman. Don't. I'm, like, so out of energy right now. Just, like, so leave me alone, because Wonder Woman was done wrong. Y'all, like I said, take no time for certain particular, people. whether they be women or have some skin tone, like Kim Kardashian would say, a skin tone. But whatever.